It's a sunny but windy Friday afternoon in Knoxville. Sherry Parker Lee Stadium, the site for today's contest. 5th-ranked Tennessee in its home opener against Charleston Southern. We welcome you into the broadcast booth alongside 2014 SEC Player of the Year Madison Shipman. I'm Michael Wottreng. Glad you could join us on this Friday afternoon in Madison. Two of the hotter teams in the country right now, and their offense is playing the long ball.
I don't know about you, Michael, but I'm really hoping to see that ball leave the park today. Between Charleston Southern with 22 home runs so far and Tennessee Volunteers with 16 home runs so far this season, I'm really expecting that ball to leave the park.
24 hours ago, it was snowing in Knoxville, but tonight it's a beautiful day for softball at Sherry Parker Lee Stadium on the campus of the University of Tennessee. We welcome you into the broadcast booth alongside former Tennessee All-American shortstop Madison Shipman. I'm Michael Wottreng. In Madison, Tennessee, coming off of a sweep against LSU, and their great pitching staff was big for this group.
Absolutely, and not only did they get that sweep, but like you said, they beat one of might be the best pitching staff in the country. It was a huge weekend for the Lady Vols, and they really needed that after 3 straight series losses.
Tennessee scores 7 times in the second inning, and they lead East Tennessee State 7-0 as the Buccaneers come to the plate. And Tennessee is in a good spot because ETSU is not only missing their leadoff hitter this year, but they're missing the SoCon Player of the Year last year in Danielle Knutsa.
And we saw that they had lost 71% of their home runs last year, and Danielle was a big part of those home runs, and she had a lot to do with them ending up making it 2 regionals last year as well. So it's a big loss that they're still trying to make up for in their lineup.
She was the SoCon Player of the Year last year, and there you see Brad Irwin in his 8th season at ETSU, 136 wins for ETSU, and now Kaylin Arnold, after sitting in the dugout for quite a while, comes back in the 3rd, and she's needed just 15 pitches to go 6 up, 6 down. Emma Martindale standing in to lead off the inning for ETSU. And if you're the Bucks, you just want something to go right offensively right now.
They just need to find a way to get on base, no matter if it's a hit by pitch, a walk, an error, just any way to try to get something going for them here in the top of the 3rd inning.
They've now failed to score in their last 22 innings at the plate. They haven't scored since April 8th. And just trying to get that offense rolling. Strike taken, 2-1. And not only that, but they haven't scored against Tennessee in a decade. In their last 6 outings against Tennessee, they've been shut out.
That probably doesn't give them a whole lot of confidence going into today's game, but what does give them a lot of confidence is their pitching staff and knowing that their pitching is doing so well. And I have to believe that if you're ETSU's offense, you're trying to do whatever it takes to just get a couple of runs across the board for your pitcher, for Madison Ogle, because she is working so hard out there on the mound.
And certainly if you're ETSU, maybe it's just a case where you string 2 hits together. They don't even need to be hard hit, just bloopers that find a gap, and maybe it starts to snowball from that area.
When you get into slumps like these, sometimes as a hitter you try too hard to make something happen. You're going up there looking at results, trying to get hits, rather than just sitting back and having a quality at bat, whether that be a walk, a hit by pitch, it doesn't matter. A hit doesn't necessarily mean a quality at bat, but that's what they've got to focus on. If you get too results oriented, everything else seems to go downhill.
And this is a perfect example of it right here from Martindale. This is a 6-pitch at bat that she's fouling some pitches off from Arnold and not going down quietly.
And like you said, Arnold had only had to throw 15 pitches going into this inning, so for her to be able to get 6 pitches in this one at bat alone is quality.
Fly ball out to center field. McLean has it measured, and she squeezes it to retire Martindale. But, yeah, good at bat there from Martindale. And with 1 out, nobody on, that brings the shortstop, Kelsey Chernak, to the plate.
Next up for ETSU, shortstop number 2, Kelsey Chernak.
Chernak had a little bit of a rough outing on defense this past inning, but we talked about being able to flush it in between plays on defense, but you've got to be able to flush it when you do come up to the plate, because if you try to make up for it too much, again, you're results oriented, you're not going to end up getting done what you want done.
Great opportunity to start some offense here for ETSU. 7 up, 7 down right now for Arnold. high fly ball hit down the left field line, but foul. Just out in front of it, but pretty good contact there by Chernak.
ETSU starting to put good barrel on the ball. Martindale had that nice fly ball to center field. She just got underneath it a bit, and Chernak right there, like you said, a little bit out in front, but that's pretty solid barrel on there.
I think if you're ETSU, not that you wanted to give up a bunch of runs, but now you're down 7-0. You have nothing to lose. Line drive over the glove of Morgan and into right field for a base hit. So Chernak able to compartmentalize the defense, and a nice piece of hitting for the shortstop.
What I really love about this at-bat is that she fouled off that one pitch really hard to the left side, and she comes back on the very next pitch, takes a low and outside pitch, and drives it straight into right field to get herself a base hit.
So as you talked about, that approach sometimes, not necessarily results-oriented, because Morgan could have reached up there and caught it, and it could have been an out, but Chernak should feel good about herself regardless of the scenario.
Oh, absolutely. She got great barrel on that ball and to the opposite side of the field against a pitcher like Kaylin Arnold. That's no easy feat.
And maybe that's one of those hits that'll drop in for ETSU and they can get this offense rolling as Julia Fritz stands in. 7-0 Tennessee, scoring all 7 runs in the second.
ETSU lost a lot of their power numbers last year, but they're really looking to utilize the speed that they do have in their lineup. And Julia Fritz is one of them. She's 5 for 5 in stolen bases this year, so if she does get on base, they're going to look to try to do a little bit of small ball to get something going for them.
ETSU over the last 2 seasons had combined for 17 stolen bases. They had 6 all of last year. First 7 games of this year, they had eclipsed that mark, and they're a team that does like to run a little bit more this season.
And I think when you lose power numbers like you did last year, you have to find your identity. You have to figure out what this team is all about. And so far, they're really trying to utilize as much speed as they possibly can. And unfortunately, they've been in a bit of a hitting slump, and you can't get stolen bases if you're not on base. But that's what they're going to look to try to improve upon this week.
Grounder back up the middle. Leach is there. Underhands to Gregg for 1. Over to first. Double play, and the inning's over. So a base hit from Chernak, but the heart of the Tennessee defense is able to turn to Leach, Gregg, and then Morgan, and Tennessee leading it 7-0 here in Knoxville. Tenth-ranked Tennessee makes it 95 straight wins against in-state opponents with an 11-3 victory over East Tennessee State. Alongside Madison Shipman, I'm Michael Wottreng, and Madison, Tennessee keeps the good vibes rolling with a walk-off winner against ETSU.
Absolutely. They really wanted to keep that momentum that they got from the sweep of LSU alive, and they absolutely did so. Their bats came alive this weekend as well, and they carried that into today's game with 11 runs versus ETSU.